whatever you remember from yesterday's session. So which tools to use and why to use those, very object oriented, excellent. Smita remembers that. Nimisha writes, mastering one field, Python can be coded as broken English. One takeaway, Raju writes, is AI machine learning does not require programming knowledge or background, right? That's not totally the right takeaway, Raju. It requires programming, right? But you do not require it as a prerequisite, but you need to do it, right? We have to master one instead of trying to do mastery in all tools and programming. Gautami, you're bang on. This is the most important point from yesterday's session, that be very, very focused when you're getting into this field, because it's so vast, it can overwhelm a person. So if you do not take a step-by-step approach, you might end up getting overwhelmed. You might end up learning too many things, and then even after learning too many things, you would not have become an expert in anything, right? Basics of R are essential. Data science includes so-and-so. Jagat writes, Piyush, right? Focus has to be solving business problem. Very good, Piyush, right? Excellent point, right? This is another big problem when this is a problem that I typically see software engineers when they're trying to get into data science running into, that they think that data science is again about coding and about software engineering, but the goal of data science is solving business problem, and that's what we learned in yesterday's session, right? So excellent. So are we all excited about making today's session equally good, right? Let me know if you are equally excited. And what I want is, yesterday's session was good not only because I was explaining it in a step-by-step way, but because you guys were participating very, very well. And are you ready to do the same today? Because this session is about you. This session is about your learning. This session is about your takeaways. And more importantly, the sessions are about your learning. Let me know if you're ready to participate as much as you did in yesterday's session, and then only this session is going to be great. And as I said, I feed off from the chats that the chat is going to get disabled in another 10 minutes. Let me know, but in the chat window, I read each and everything that keeps on coming in the chat window. We disable it so that there are no distractions, but do ensure that you guys are participating and interacting. And I'm going to be asking you thousands of questions during this 2-hour window, lot of questions. And I already know the answers to most of the questions. But the reason I don't want to give you those answers is because I want that in this 2 hours that you did yesterday and today, you should think. You should not just get information on a platter, but if I can make you do a little bit of critical thinking, if I can rack your brains a little bit, then I would think that this session is successful. Otherwise, it's just information that I would be sharing today, right? So how about we get started with today's session, right? Shall we? Are we all excited, right? Okay, great. So let's start with today's session. Those of you who are right now jumping into the session, welcome everyone to this super exciting session called Machine Learning Live Training. My name is Manvendra. People call me Manav. I'm the Chief Data Science Mentor at International School of AI and Data Science. And I am joined in the chat window by Vikas, who heads the Global Certificate in Data Science program at Insaid. And Vikas is going to be active on the chat window because the number of participants is very, very, very huge. I will not be able to possibly address all the questions, but be patient. Vikas is there to answer each one of your questions in the chat window. So today is the day 2 of this 2-day workshop, and today is the last day of this 2-day workshop. Yesterday, what we did is we took our very first steps into the world of data science. We started with looking at the opportunities. We looked at what is data science. We did a couple of small case studies, and then I gave out a lot of exciting scholarships in the end. What we are going to do in today's session is we are going to start with looking at what is machine learning, right? And getting this right is very, very important. And then we are going to move into this session. And this part is going to be very, very exciting. Over the last couple of years, I've been in this field. I have the opportunity to interact thousands of people in this space. And trust me, there have been numerous instances when people have written all big buzzwords in their resume, right? That they don't know this algorithm, that algorithm, and sometimes they can get confused even in these basics of machine learning called supervised and unsupervised algorithm. You're going to learn that in today's session, and then we will deep dive into machine learning algorithms. And the approach that I'm going to take in today's session, like yesterday, is going to be totally real world use cases. No theory, right? It's going to be, you're going to be applying these machine learning algorithms in real world case studies, and I'll help you think through that what are the various use cases in healthcare, in banking, in whatever domain, in manufacturing, etc. Right? And then towards the end, though, since today is the last day of this 2-day workshop, I'll be giving out the last few scholarships reserved for this 2-day workshop. Today is the last day, and you'll have the opportunity to avail these scholarships if you were not able to do it in yesterday's session, right? So that's the agenda of today's session. The session is going to be approximately for 1.5 hours to 2 hours. Make sure that you are there for the entire duration. If you have some work, if you are in the session if you are just here for 20 or 30 minutes, you can drop off immediately, because you will not get any value out of the session. You will get value out of the session only when you are focused here with me in the session, and for that I would need your next 90 minutes, right? So a quick bit about me, those of you who were not able to join us yesterday. I'm the Chief Data Science Mentor at Insaid. My research areas are machine vision, which is a subset of machine learning, and it's a subset of deep learning. I'm ranked among the 20 most prominent data science academicians in India. And one of the fundamental strengths that I have as a teacher is, and especially being a faculty in this space, is that the ability to convey topics in a very step-by-step way, and more importantly, from a real-world perspective. Because what I fundamentally believe is that machine learning is so exciting as a subject, but where professionals get challenged is they are not able to apply it in different kind of scenarios. And my goal in today's session is also going to be to keep it very simple, to keep it very interesting, and more importantly, to keep it real world, right? So let's get started with the session. But what I would want to know from you guys is, so for me to be able to connect with you better, I want you guys to let me know about your profile a little bit, because this session is not about me. This session is not about Insaid. This session is about you. And I would want you guys to let me know your current profile in terms of what your current designation is, what your current technology is, and the number of years of experience that you have. For example, you would write, say, SAP consultant, 15 years, and you would write, say, working in Infosys, right? So very, very quickly, let me know in the chat window. That helps me understand the audience profile and also get a sense if we have the right people in the audience, right? So Sampath writes .NET developer working with Cognizant. Pranay writes Oracle DBA 7 years TCS, management team 5 years Genpact. Pawan writes data analyst. Ravi writes Ravi manager from SLK. Harish 15 years of experience. Piyush writes project manager 12 years IT experience, BNY Mellon. We have Neeraj, MSBI consultant, New Sigma. Excellent. We have Rahul, First Gate. We have Vikram from Accenture, associate consultant. Khushbu, technical consultant, Capgemini. Sandeep, Oracle ERP, 15 years. Deloitte. Gautami, senior utilities domain consultant, 11 years. Okay, excellent. Now it's flowing very, very fast. So we have people from Accenture. We have people from TCS, Wipro, IBM, Capgemini, Intel, NTT Data. We have people from Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, etc. We have Rakesh. Oh, very good. Rakesh is from Bombardier, right? 10 years aerospace. And Excellent. So essentially what I can see is that we have the right target audience here in terms of the professionals. 90% of the professionals here are from the IT industry. We also have Surendra from Adobe Systems and Guru from JP Morgan, right? Excellent. So welcome everyone. Super excited to see such a talented bunch of people in today's session. Now, without wasting any further time, let's jump into the session and let's get started with today's session, right? Which is what is machine learning. And before we talk about machine learning, let's look at what the world leaders are saying about machine learning. So every leader across the world, whether you talk about some of these top pioneers in the world that we are talking about, or whether it be your own company's CEO, you would see that they are talking about machine learning day in and day out, right? For example, Satya Nadella says that AI and machine learning will lead to ultimate breakthroughs. And if any of you have been observing or watching Microsoft very closely, I want you guys to let me know in the chat window, what are the two pillars of Satya Nadella's strategy for the next 10 years? That Nadella says that if Microsoft does not do anything else, but focus on these two areas, is going to win the technology war. It's going to dominate the world in the technology space. Let me know what are the two pillars of Nadella's strategy. And Nadella says that this is where Microsoft needs to win, right? It is cloud, right, and AI. These are the two pillars, because what Nadella says is that while cloud provides the infrastructure to companies to store data, to do the different kind of things, what AI provides to enterprises is intelligence, right? And what Nadella says is the best company is going to be the company which is going to win this race, is going to be a company which is not only going to do cloud, which is not only going to do AI, but which is going to do cloud, which is going to do AI on top of cloud, which is cloud plus AI strategy, right? And this is what fundamentally Microsoft is moving towards, that it's building amazing products through Azure, right? Azure is its flagship program for cloud. And through AI, it is building Cortana, and it is putting a lot of data science tools on Azure. In fact, last Thursday, if I don't know if any of you were able to attend, did any of you attend this session conducted by Suchit Majumdar, who's our chief data scientist, called Machine Learning on Azure? And I'm not sure how many of you were able to attend that session. In that session, the beauty of that session is you would be able to see how beautifully Azure or Microsoft has built this Azure platform, that you don't even need to write a single line of code, to implement a machine learning algorithm. It's just drag and drop, right? And what Nadella's vision is, and what Microsoft's vision is, to enable machine learning for everyone. You don't need to be from a software engineering background. Irrespective of the background that you're from, you should be able to do machine learning, right? Similarly, there are companies like Google, whose bread and butter, whose every product has AI. Every product is powered through machine learning. And similarly, you have companies like Facebook, which has one of the biggest machine learning teams and data science teams globally. And there are two kinds of data scientists working in Facebook. One is in Facebook, the first kind of data scientists are company level data scientists. And what these company-wide data scientists, what these people do is they keep on working on Facebook as a company problems as a data scientist. And the second kind of data scientist Facebook has is product level data scientists, wherein each product that Facebook has, right? Each product that Facebook has a data scientist assigned to that product, right? And Facebook has hundreds and hundreds of small and big products. So each product at Facebook has a data scientist, the data scientist assigned. And for company-wide data science projects, you have data scientists who are taking care of different projects. And the interesting thing about machine learning is, if you think about it with a very open mind, is that machine learning is one thing that exists in Facebook as a product, but 99% of Facebook's users do not know that what is happening in Facebook and what they are seeing on Facebook is being powered through machine learning. And I want you guys to think a little bit and let me know in the chat window 2 ways in which you know Facebook uses machine learning, right? And the best part is that most of the people do not even know that what is this happening. They know, but why is this happening and what is the technology behind that? They do not know the names of those terms. And I want you guys to let me know 2 ways in which Facebook uses machine learning, right? Advertisements, excellent. How about others, right? Keep writing the answers. It's just to expand your thought process, right? While searching friend suggestions, right? Facial recognition, right? We upload photos and Facebook gives us suggestion. It is through deep neural networks. It's an area of research that I have, which is called computer vision. Computers recognize who that person is. Relevant article face tagging. How about spam? How about ensuring that there is the Facebook as a platform is sanitized and all the content that is being uploaded is as per Facebook's guideline, right? And the most important product of Facebook, newsfeed. This is the most important product of Facebook called newsfeed. What most of us don't know is that newsfeed has one of the biggest machine learning teams in Facebook, because bread and butter of Facebook is this product called newsfeed. And how newsfeed works is it works on nothing called probability, right? That Facebook wants to show you, and it is like a lot of probability, not of naive Bayes, lot of these machine learning algorithms at play. Facebook wants to show you things that you are most likely to click on, right? And how does it determine that? Through probability, right? And this is one of the ways in which Facebook uses machine learning, right? So essentially what companies are moving towards and companies are using machine learning for is 2 things. And these 2 things, if we think about the future, I want you guys to let me know, right, whether these things are going to be more or less. Machine learning is being used for 2 things primarily. Number one, to make smarter decisions, right? Now you have something like smart cities, you have Facebook recommendations. Essentially what it is doing, it is making smarter decisions on behalf of human beings, right? And second thing is automation. We spoke about automation also yesterday, right? So when everything is moving towards smarter things and smarter phones, smart cities, everything is becoming more and more smart. And the second thing is more and more things are becoming automated. That means when we talk about the future of machine learning and AI, we are talking about a future where machine learning is going to enable more and more smartness and more automation, right? And in this session today, we are going to look at some of the ways in which real world use cases in which machine learning helps us do that, right? Okay, now let's quickly, now we understand a little bit about what is happening in some of these companies and what is happening around the world. Let's look at what is machine learning very quickly. There are 100 different ways in which you can define machine learning. The easiest way in which I define personally machine learning is this. Just like the way humans learn from experience. When we are born, we don't know anything about the world. But as we grow, we start learning from our surroundings. We start learning from our parents. We start learning from our teachers, right? Similarly, machines become intelligent over a period of time as they become more and more experienced. My question to you guys is, what gives this experience to machines, right? Because machines do not have parents. Machines do not have teachers. Machines do not have surroundings. What is that makes machines intelligent over a period of time? Let me know in the chat window, right? Very good, excellent. Data, right? Data is the first thing that makes machines intelligent, right? And that's the first part that you need to remember about machine learning, that as a data scientist, as a machine learning expert, as a AI expert, the first thing that you need to master is data, right? Today's session is not about data. Today's session is about machine learning algorithms, but I want to focus on this a little bit so that because most of us want to directly learn the algorithms, but none of us want to talk about data. So I just want to help you guys understand that why data is important. Now let's imagine that you are building a predictive model to predict, right, whether a patient is infected by Zika virus or not, right? Virus or not. Now, doing this through machine learning algorithms is no big deal, but the challenge always is everything related to data. As a data scientist, when newbies enter this field, one of the problems that they always face is they think that everything is going to be given to them, the data is going to be given to them. Whereas the questions that you need to ask as a data scientist is that some of these fundamental questions that we often forget and that are very, very critical. If you pay attention to these questions, you will be all good in this space, especially when it comes to data, right? So when you have a machine learning model like this to build, you need to ask questions like, right, what kind of data do I need? Data do I need to solve this business problem, right? Where do I get this data from? Where do I get this data from, right? Third is, what kind of permissions do I need to get this data? Right? Now, let me just ask you this question, why the third point is important, right? Let's imagine that you are working as a data scientist in BFSI, in one of the banks, and you ask for data, right? Will a bank, even if you are an employee of that particular bank and you are a part of the data science team, will the data be made accessible to you so easily, right? Similarly for healthcare companies, what do you think is going to be the challenge, right? That it is customer sensitive data. Banks don't share the data that easily. You need multiple levels of approval, right? And you need to be cognizant of these facts. Similarly, you have things like, once you have that data, right, what size of data do you need? What is the size of data that you need, right? What is the once you have this data, how do I store this data, right? How do I clean this data? How do I clean this data? How do I transform this data, right? How do I transform this data in a way that I can actually use that thing? For example, any of you have worked with log files? Give me a quick yes in the chat window if you have ever worked with log files. Now imagine that you are working on IoT case studies, right? And let's imagine that you are working in IoT domain and you want to build a predictive maintenance model. Now, if you're working in IoT and you're working with log files, the challenge with log files, what do you think is the challenge with log files? Those of you who have worked with these log files. The challenge with log files is that most of us cannot even make any sense out of log files, isn't it? What insights am I going to get from log files? Very, very few. It's almost impossible for human beings to actually make some sense of data because it's so huge and so complicated. And that's why as a data scientist, you need to code, you need to encode, you need to decode this data in a way that you can actually feed into your machine learning model, right? So what is very, very crucial here is that as a data scientist, your number one goal is to ask some of these very fundamental questions and think about some of these fundamental questions, right? Let me know if you guys are with me and if you can see that why data is so very important and why you should pay very, very special attention to everything related to data. And if these fundamentals are not clear, in real world, you'll always get stuck. You'll always be dependent on others. Let me know if this point is absolutely clear to everyone, right? Great. Clear. Absolutely, right? Great. So second point regarding this is what as a data scientist you need to focus on is that the data that you're feeding to your machine learning algorithms need to be very, very high quality. The more high quality data you will feed into your machine learning algorithms, the more high quality results you're going to get from your machine learning algorithm. If I'm going to feed bad quality data, I'm going to get bad results. If I'm going to feed high quality data to my machine learning algorithms, so I'm going to get high quality results. That's why your goal in machine learning has to be always, remember this word, right? I'm sure some of you already know this, gold in, gold out. If you feed gold data to my machine learning model, it will give you gold output. But if you feed garbage input and garbage output, if you feed garbage data to my machine learning algorithm, it will give you bad accuracy, it will give you bad prediction. And that's something that what you need to remember in this particular case. Any of you remember this particular very funny incident that happened almost 2 years back, when Microsoft launched Cortana bot on Twitter, and the first thing that, and they said that there is no human manning that particular bot, right, on Twitter. And the first thing that it did in the first very hour, it started hurling abuses on Twitter. Any of you remember that particular instance, that it started hurling abuses at all people, including Microsoft? It started abusing Microsoft. And why do you think that is? Because it was fed with possibly that kind of data where it was trained to kind of by mistake, or I don't know, somebody might be playing a prank at Microsoft, it started doing that. And that's why data quality is the #1 thing that you need to remember as a data scientist. The second thing that you need to remember in data science as a machine learning expert is algorithms. Algorithms is the heart of machine learning, but data is not our focus today. Algorithms is what we are going to talk about. Now, as a data scientist, one tip that I have for people who are getting started in this field is that whenever we talk about machine learning algorithms, always the approach that you need to take, and there are hundreds and hundreds of machine learning algorithms. I possibly know 50, but there are hundreds of machine learning algorithms in this space, right? The approach that you need to take in machine learning, what newbies usually don't take, is that what newbies do is that they look at, these are the various algorithms. This is SVM, this is linear regression, this is logistic regression. And now I have a data set, and now let's apply these algorithms on this data set, right? That's a wrong approach. The approach you need to take in this field is, and this is something I want you guys to listen very closely, instead of a forward-looking approach like this, you need to take a back-solving kind of approach, wherein you are looking first at the end goal or the business problem. And then you are looking at what kind of machine learning algorithm can solve this particular business problem. Let me know if this is something that you will remember for once and all after this session. This is the key differentiator that will make you life very, very, very easy. That you will look not at the machine learning algorithm, but at the business problem first. And once you know that this is the business problem, then you will look at what kind of algorithms can I use to solve this business problem, right? Are you guys with me on this particular part or not, right? Because the next section that I'm going to move to, which is the core of today's session, you will be able to see the application of this. But this fundamental point is so critical that how this also helps you is that once you understand the business problem, the best part is then you don't need to know 50 or even 100 different machine learning algorithms. You understand that, for example, this is a classification problem. Then you need to look at what kind of algorithms are there in classification, and let me see which algorithm will fit best for solving this particular, for making this particular prediction, right? And that's the approach that we need to take in machine learning. So these are the two components of machine learning that you need to remember, and you need to also pay very, very close attention to as a data scientist, right? So since we are talking about algorithms, I'll just skip all of this part. Now let's talk about machine learning algorithms, which is the focus of today's session. And pay very close attention here, because this can seem a little confusing in the beginning. But since we are going to do it through a lot of real world examples, hopefully things should be clear. But at any point of time, if you feel that you're not understanding stuff, right, let me know, because this can seem a little confusing. And especially people usually learn this over a period of weeks, and I'm going to condense all of this information for you in just 15 minutes to half an hour, right? So it's like information overload, but we'll try to do it in a step-by-step way so that you understand this easily, right? So when it comes to machine learning algorithms, 90% of the world's problem, or 90% of the problems that you're actually going to face as a data scientist in the industry, they will get solved using these two kind of machine learning algorithms, these two types of machine learning algorithms called supervised machine learning algorithms and unsupervised machine learning algorithms, right? So let's look at what these machine learning algorithms are. Now, pay close attention here. What you have in supervised algorithm is that you have a set of input, and that set of input gives you an output. So you have a set of input, say X, and you have an output, which is the prediction, which is Y. But what is there in unsupervised learning is you have an input X, but there is no output Y, right? This is the fundamental difference, that there is no output Y. Now, your question would be that how is this possible? There is no output Y, right? And what I'm going to do is take some real world examples to help you understand this, right? Now, let's say that I ask you a question, right? What will be the stock price of TCS on July 1st, 2019, right? What do you guys think? Is it a supervised learning problem or unsupervised learning problem? USL or SL? So don't type in supervised as in the entire thing. If it is supervised learning, I just want very short answers, not long answers. SL or USL, right? SL or USL. What will be the stock price of TCS on 1st July 2019, right? Okay. USL, SL, USL. Okay, it's almost 50-50 split. Now let's look at this problem statement. Now for me to be able to tell you the stock price here is the Y variable. It is the prediction, because I don't know what is the stock price, what will be the stock price. So stock price here is the prediction, or the Y. But I cannot determine stock price till the time I do not know the X variable. Stock price will be stock price as on January 13th or January 14th, whatever that date is. What is TCS's performance? What is their revenue guidance, etc., etc. So you will see that for me to be able to tell you what will be the stock price of TCS as on July 21st, 2019, I need input variables, and based on these input variables only, I can predict whether what will be the exact stock price of TCS on that particular day. And that's why it is supervised learning, because it has X variables, you have X variables, and you have Y variable as well, which is a prediction, right? Now let's see how is this different in unsupervised learning. And don't worry, even if things are still not very clear, I will keep on quizzing you. And my way of teaching is I'm not going to give you the answer. I'm going to be quizzing you all throughout. So you're going to give the answers irrespective of whether you understand this or not, right? So let's look at the second thing, which is unsupervised learning. In unsupervised learning, for example, I'm given a set of people, and the set of people are attending a conference, and people are infected by, let's take a healthcare case study. A set of people are infected by Zika virus, and what I see is that person 1, I'm calling it P1, he is Indian, right? And then I'm seeing P2 is Chinese, right? And P3, which is person 3, is French, and P4 is again Indian, right? P5 is again Indian. And similarly, you have this data set of till P1000, and then you have this data set till P1 lakh, and then 10 lakh, and then 1 crore. It's a big data set, right? So whatever that is. Now, what I want to see is that out of all of these people, right? Out of all of these people, what percentage of people here, what percentage of people here in this data set of 1 lakh are Indian, right? Supervised or unsupervised learning? Supervised or unsupervised? Very, very simple case, case study that I've taken. If it is used as unsupervised learning, type in USL, or if it is supervised learning, type in SL. What percentage of people is here in this particular healthcare case study, Zika virus? It is Indians, right? USL. Now Piyush is writing SL, right? Now some people are writing SL, and Pawan is also writing SL. No, it's not SL, it's USL, right? The reason is, here I am not doing any prediction. Just pay very close attention. Am I doing a prediction here whether P1 is infected by Zika virus or not? Not infected, right? I'm not doing any prediction. I'm not doing any prediction here. All I'm doing is I am grouping people. I am looking at these people. Out of this 1 lakh people, these are Indian. Out of 1 lakh people, these are French. Out of these 1 lakh people, these are Chinese, right? Give me a quick yes if this fundamental concept now is clear to you guys, that what is supervised learning and what is unsupervised learning, because now I'm going to ask you even more question. If it is not clear, not a problem, just type in no, right? Because I am again going to come to you and give you some more problems so that you guys are able to figure it out, right? So Manjushri writes no, Rahul writes yes, clear. Okay, so not a problem, right? So let's dig into this a little deeper. I'll just erase all of this and let's make it things more exciting, right? Okay, now I am given, for example, I want to predict, let me just take this case study, right? Okay, so I want to develop a model which will forecast, which will forecast that that I am developing, for example, again a healthcare case study, right? And I want to forecast based on a person's vitals, body vitals. I want to forecast whether the patient will develop, diabetes by age 40 or not, right? Supervised or unsupervised? Supervised or unsupervised? Now let me see how many of you are still confused and how many of you are gotten it right. So I'm collecting data, and you would have heard about this thing called remote patient monitoring and Fitbits and whatnot. So what essentially Fitbit is doing is it's collecting all of your data, and then it is making some predictions based on this, right? And if it is supervised, now I want you guys to let me know, take that effort and let me know why it is supervised. If it is unsupervised, I want you guys to let me know why it is supervised. The answer, I think if you apply the logic that I gave you in the last example, you should be able to get this right very, very easily, right? Whether patient, because it is predictive. Excellent answer. Because I am doing some prediction. How can I predict whether a patient will develop diabetes by age 40 or not? I am not a foreseer, right? So I cannot see all of these things myself. I need person's vitals. For example, person might have high BP, person might be taking a lot of sugar, person might be taking, might not be exercising, etc. So I need all of these data points for me to be able to predict whether the person will be diabetic or not, right? Is it getting interesting? Are things making sense? And are you guys able to relate this to real world examples, right? If you are, just be there, because this is going to be even more exciting as we, this is going to be more clear as we proceed, right? Okay. Now let me take another case study, and let me just move to from healthcare. Now let me move to government, right? Let's say that I am the government of India, and I want I have set up a 1,000 crore fund, and I want to give this money to the poorest districts in India. the poorest districts in India, because I want to allocate this fund to the poorest districts to see how this fund can be actually utilized. Now, all of these poor districts have the similar kind of problems. They have sanitation problem, they have unemployment problem, they have literacy problem, they have a lot of problems, right? And now, as government of India, I want to see that which of these problems should I allocate the maximum fund to? Which of these problems should what are the commonalities between all of these districts, right? What is the single most biggest problem? Because all of these poor districts, the reason they are poor is because all of these problems are interrelated. Now, I want to see what is the commonality between all of these districts. If I want to find that, right, what kind of problem this is, that what is the commonality? Is it literacy is the biggest problem? Sanitation is the biggest problem? Unemployment is the biggest problem, right? Keep the answers coming in. I'm not looking for literacy and sanitation. Deepak is writing literacy. I'm looking for, is it unsupervised learning or is it supervised learning, right? Absolutely, it is unsupervised learning, because all we are doing here is we are grouping the data. I am not doing any prediction. I'm not doing any prediction here. All I am doing is I am grouping the data. Now, let me just add one layer of complication to it, and let me just ask you this question. Now, I have determined that, say, literacy or say unemployment is the major problem across commonality between all of these districts. And now my question is, how much fund should I allocate to each district for unemployment? Is this a supervised or unsupervised problem? On the very same data point that I have, now I am asking you, how much fund should I allocate to each district for unemployment? Supervised or unsupervised, right? Great. You guys are awesome. You guys are doing an excellent job. 90% of you are now getting the answer right. Pranay and some other people are still, I think, confused. So they're giving wrong answers. But 90% of you are doing it, because this, I hope would be a little bit now clear to you. How much fund should I allocate? Fund is a number, right? And that's why it's a prediction, because to do a prediction, I need to know the data points, right? And I need to have these data points to be able to do the prediction. And that's why it is a supervised learning algorithm, right? Okay, let me know if these two fundamental algorithm types are clear to you, because now I'm going to move a little deeper into this. But before that, I just want to get a heads up if it is clear to you or not. Yes or no, or if it is clear, type in clear. If it is absolutely clear, type in absolutely clear. I don't want that you guys should walk out of this session by being even more confused, or what has Manav taught us. It has to be absolutely clear. And most of this, if you look at from a real world perspective, I think like the way we have just done, should be clear itself. Clear, absolutely clear, right? Now let's look. Are we now ready to dive in a little deeper into this, right? Supervised and unsupervised, and see how is it used? Yeah. Now let's look at these machine learning algorithms a little deeply. And in these machine learning algorithms, we are going to talk about supervised learning first. So in supervised learning, what you have is you have two types of supervised learning. The first type of supervised learning you have is called classification. The second type of machine learning algorithms that are used under supervised learning is called regression. Now let's look at what exactly does this mean and when to use what. So whenever the output variable, so supervised learning means there is definitely going to be an output, right? Whenever the output that you are predicting or the predicted output is discrete, right? The machine learning algorithm that you use is classification. Whenever the output variable that you are predicting is continuous in nature, the machine learning algorithm that you use is called regression. It's called regression type of machine learning algorithm. So in your bucket, you will have different kind of machine learning algorithms. So what you'll do is you'll pick up regression kind of machine learning algorithms. Now, let me just check with you and see whether if you are able to implement this in real world, right? Now, if I ask you that, let me just take a case study, and this time we are going to take a case study of a bank, right? A bank. And what happens in a bank is a bank is giving loan application and it wants to automate loan application evaluation, right? Whether so banks like HSBC, State Bank of India, ICICI Bank, they have a lot of people working in their loan department who do this thing itself day in and day out, whether to give a loan to a customer or not. So you have, say, loan applicant, let me just mark it as loan applicant 1, you have loan applicant 2, you have loan applicant 3, you have loan applicant 4. All of these applications are coming into your machine learning system, and they are getting passed through this machine learning algorithm that you're building. Now, I want to know whether to give a loan to a customer or not. Whether to give a loan to a customer or not. Whether to give loan to a customer applicant, to an applicant or not. Applicant or not. What kind of, first of all, machine learning algorithm will I use here? Supervised or unsupervised? And then I'll ask you the next follow-on question. SL or USL? Right, SL, excellent, right? It is SL. This is very obvious. Now we have understood this a little better. Now, if it is SL, now I want to know whether to give a loan to a loan applicant 1. Should I use classification algorithm here or should I use regression algorithm here? Depending on what I have just told you, when the output is discrete, use classification. When the output is continuous, use regression, right? So what is it? Discrete, classification. Now people are writing regression also, classification. Most of you guys got it, right? So it is classification, right? It is classification because the output is discrete. Now here's the magic bullet, and now this example that I've taken has made it clear, but now let me just give you one magic bullet, right, that will help you in future as well, because this, in more complicated case studies, a lot of time we would get confused whether it is classification or regression. And this magic bullet for this is that whenever you have given a problem statement and the output is always binary, in classification the output is always binary, right? Then the machine learning algorithm that you need to use is classification machine learning algorithms, right? Let me, for example, ask you a question. Will Modi be elected re-elected as the Prime Minister of India in 2019 or not, right? Classification or regression, right? It is classification. If it is classification, just type in C, right? You don't need to write the entire thing, right? It is classification, right? It is classification because it is binary. So pay very close attention here. Classification will always give you answers as 1 or 0, true as false, right? For example, will Trump be elected to the White House in 2020, right? Maybe, yes or no, true or false, 1 or 0, or yes or no, right? Are you guys with me on this? Is it making sense to you? And is some of these concepts becoming more and more clear in terms of how they are to be applied in real world scenarios, right? Okay, great. So whenever the output is 1 and 0 binary, you use classification. So there is something called multi-class classification and etc. We will not get into all of that part right now. So loan application 1, right? Here in loan application 1, the answer is classification. Now for the very same applicant, I want to know, the machine learning algorithm has given me that yes, for example, give loan to this particular customer. So it has given me give loan to this particular customer. loan applicant 2, yes. Now, if it is a yes, I want to now see that how much loan should I give to this customer, right? What algorithm will I use here? Which algorithm will I use here, right? Right? For the very same data set, and what I'm trying to show you is that the very same data set, now I have used classification because the problem statement was different. And this brings me to the point I made some time back, which was that in machine learning, focus not on the data, but on the end goal, the end prediction that you're trying to make. The end goal here was whether to give loan to a customer or not. Yes or no, classification. How much loan should I give to this customer? Then the machine learning algorithm that you use here is regression, right? Regression, right? So is this point clear to everyone? Why have we used regression here? Yeah, excellent. Now let's look at on the very same data set. Now we have used classification, we have used regression. Now let's see on the very same data set, how would you use clustering, which is a type of machine learning algorithm. So I'll just erase all of this off so that it is cleaner. Now on the very same data set, loan applicant 1, loan applicant 2, and I'm giving now my machine learning algorithm is telling me give loan, not give loan, give loan, etc. Now I want to see, as a data scientist, I want to see that the customers I am rejecting, what are the commonalities between all of these customers, right? What kind of machine learning algorithms will I use here? I want to see that what are the common traits between all of these customers, right? Would I use classification? Would I use regression? Or would I use clustering, right? Keep the answers coming. Clustering. I would use clustering. And my question is that now, if you were to use clustering, why would you use clustering? What are the kind of insights are you looking for? For example, all of these, now I've categorized that all of these customers, the loan was denied to. What kind of insights am I going to look for? And you're going to look for as a data scientist, because as a data scientist, your real strength is not in your knowledge of machine learning algorithm. It's not in your knowledge of Python. It's in your critical thinking. It's in your ability to ask questions. It's in your ability to look at multiple angles, right? So what would I look for is that I would look for that what are the common patterns between all of these people? Do these people have a certain percentage of debt? Maybe their salary is an issue. Maybe the cities that they come from an issue. Maybe they are not working with multinational companies. Maybe there is some other things as well that I don't know of, right? Maybe their income tax has not been filed, etc., etc., right? Or maybe their credit score. For example, Ayush writes credit score is not good, right? Are you guys with me on this? That why are we doing clustering? So clustering is used for analysis and interpretation. So when you want to clustering, you use it for analysis and interpretation. And supervised learning, which is classification and regression, is not used for analysis and interpretation. It is used for prediction. Give me a quick yes if you guys are with me on this very fundamental thing. Classification, regression, always prediction. Analysis, interpretation, always clustering. Whenever you want to do analysis and interpretation, you will use clustering machine learning algorithm, right? So before I move to the next section, let me know if you guys are enjoying the session now, if you guys are with me, and if you're totally focused on the session, and if the speed is fine, if the examples are good, if you are thoroughly understanding most of these points. And my goal is to keep it very, very simple, step by step. And I hope that you guys are enjoying the session. So let me know if that is something that things are becoming very, very clear to you, right? So it's interesting, amazing, very good. Pace is perfect, great, clear. Please elaborate. Clustering. Can I? Okay. Enjoying. I have done all of this, but now I'm able to relate all of this. Ayush, excellent. I'm glad that you already knew this, but finally you are able to relate all of this thing in the session. Excellent. Right. So now let's move to another type of machine learning algorithm that I have not spoken about so far in supervised. So now the three things that we have learned is we have learned supervised, we have learned unsupervised, we have learned classification, we have learned regression, we have learned clustering, in which all we are doing is we are forming groups. Now the last thing that we need to know is association, and association rules is very, very critical and very, very useful in e-commerce company, right? And let me ask you this question. Any of you have plans of becoming a machine learning expert or want to join an e-commerce company like Flipkart, Amazon, and some of these e-commerce companies like Swiggy and some of these web-based, app-based kind of companies, right? If any of you want to join any of these e-commerce internet kind of businesses, kind of companies, you are going to use association rules very, very often, because e-commerce companies use association rules very, very heavily. Now, what is the very fundamental concept of association rules? And pay very close attention here is, it's very simple. All I'm doing is I'm trying to find association between things. So for example, I'm trying to find out what is the relation between A and B. I'm trying to find out what is the relation between A and C. And I'm trying to find out how is A related to C. And I am trying to find out what is the probability of this association happening. What is the probability of this association happening? What is the probability of this association happening? Now, can you guys think of how this is going to be useful in e-commerce companies, and how do e-commerce companies actually do this? Any guesses? Take some guesses and let me know. Let me see if you guys are thinking it loud and seeing how is this used. Cross-selling, excellent point. Arun, that is fabulous. Cross-selling is the biggest way in which it is used. Jasmine also writes item purchase together. Gautami writes product suggestions always show on Amazon. A group of customer versus brand recommendation engines. Exactly, all of these are valid ways in which e-commerce companies look at that. And the way this happens is, let's imagine that you are working as a data scientist at Big Basket, right? And let's imagine that you are given this task that you need to build a recommended system, and you're doing your own analysis. And the goal for you is one. You have been given that your goal is to increase the ACV, right? Increase the ACV and increase the TCV of the shopping cart. Any guesses what does ACV and TCV mean in terms of e-commerce terminologies? ACV means average cart value, and TCV means total cart value, as in how many products, what is the total size of when a customer purchases from Big Basket, what is the size of her basket, or what is the size of his basket on bigbasket.com, right? So to increase this ACV and TCV, what I'm going to do is I'm building a recommended system, right? Now, as a data scientist, for example, I want to look at when a customer adds milk to her shopping basket, what is the next most likely product she is likely to add to her basket? And I want suggestions from you guys. What is the combination that you think is going to be the best, most likely combination? After milk, what do you think is a customer going to add? Sugar, right? Excellent. After milk, it can be bread, right? Keep the answers coming in. After milk, it can be cheese, like some of you guys are writing. After milk, it can be butter also, and after milk, like some of you are writing, it can be even eggs, right? Makes sense, right? So now all of these combinations are possible. And as data scientists, what you cannot do is you cannot make judgments based on what you think is the next most likely product. What you're going to do is you're going to find out probability. You're going to assign probability to each one of these combinations. And how you're going to assign probability to each one of these combinations based on past data. And what you're going to look at, what you're going to see, and you're going to calculate all of these probabilities. And let's say that you get this probability of all of this as 0.3, 0.25, 0.1, 0.05, and X is, and these are just hypothetical numbers. It can be totally something else also, right? 0.07, right? Now it becomes super easy, right? What is the product that I should show to the customer? Because it is not based on what I think I should show to the customer, because I might think that I should show to the customer butter, but most of the customers here in this case are adding sugar to their product, right? To their basket. Now, do you also see that the difference between sugar and bread is not a lot? It's 0.05. Now, what should I do? What should I do in such cases when the difference is not a lot? Right? What should I do in such cases? The difference is not very vast, and there's a good probability that a customer might have added bread. So I cannot just I cannot just make a customer see sugar, because the customer might be interested in the second thing, right? Excellent, right? So what I would do is, as a data scientist, I would make a combo. And what I would want to show is, I would want to show a combo of all of these three products, because I know that the probability of this getting added to the shopping cart is very good. And what I will do is, I will show a combo of milk, sugar, and bread, right? And what I would do is, to ensure that this is getting added, I will possibly offer some discount also, right? And this is the fundamental concept of association rules, wherein based on historical data, you are looking at those combinations, and then you are assigning probability to it, and you are then finally showing to the customer what is the highest probability for that particular combination happening, right? So are we clear with association rules, how it works? Because now what I want to do is, I want to move to the next section, but before I move to the next section, just want a quick heads up. If association rules, you guys are clear conceptually, what example, how is this actually used in real world, and more importantly, how simple it is if you learn it, if you get the concepts right. Yeah. Okay. Now, here are the various use cases and applications of machine learning algorithms. I've drawn a tree to help you guys understand that. And my question to you guys is that, one question is that you see that medical imaging has this word called classification. I want you guys to let me know, how do you think medical imaging is using classification, right? And this is going to be one of the biggest things that you're going to see in futures, where doctors are not going to be even required, right? Radiologists are not going to be required. Essentially, it's going to be machines telling you something. And what do you think it is going to be? How is classification being used in machine learning algorithm, in medicine, in healthcare, right? Absolutely. It is going to be used in the sense that now you would not require doctors. You would feed the scan or the DNA sample or the X-ray reports or the healthcare data, and it will tell you whether the patient has cancer or not, whether the patient has hepatitis B or not, whether the patient is going to be suffering from Alzheimer's disease in another 10 years or not, right? And that is the power of some of these machine learning algorithms. And this is why when you read it in the newspaper every day that machine learning and AI is doing so and so, it's the application of some of these very simple concepts in different kind of industries, right? And this is the way regression, classification, etc. Is being used. Now, the final type of machine learning algorithm that I want to talk about, which is not the focus of today's session, is that 90% of the problems that you're going to see in the industry are going to be solved using supervised and unsupervised algorithms. But there's a third type of category, which is my research area, as I mentioned, computer vision, is reinforcement learning. And I believe that when you see movies like Terminator and all, right, which you would have seen, that this is the future of humanity. This is where you are going to possibly see only 10% of the use cases right now, but by 2030, by 2040, this is going to be like the biggest industry. Like the way we have software industry, there's going to be entire industry with crores of people working in this industry called reinforcement learning. Now let's look at what reinforcement learning is and what is the basic premise of reinforcement learning. In supervised and unsupervised learning, all you had is, say, you had a prediction variable. You're predicting something. But in reinforcement learning, what you have is you're predicting something, and that prediction is going in something else. So X is leading to Y, and Y is leading to Z. And the basic way, let me just help you understand how is it used in a real world context. So let's imagine a driverless car. Reinforcement learning is used in driverless car. Now in a driverless car, right, when a car is using computer vision and it is seeing that there is a couple of white markers on the road. Now it needs to make a decision whether those white markers are speed breakers or not, right? And it needs to make that prediction. To make that prediction, I want you guys to let me know which kind of machine learning algorithm is possibly being used in driverless cars, right? To make that prediction that whenever car sees something, whether it sees an object, whether it sees a speed breaker, whether it sees a human being, what kind of machine learning algorithm is being used in to determine whether it is a speed breaker or not, right? Excellent, right? Keep the answers coming in. It is classification. Very good. It is classification. It is classifying that this is a speed breaker. The answer is yes or no. Yes or no. Yes or no. Makes sense? Are you guys with me? But for a driverless car, is it enough for the car to tell you if it is a speed breaker, right? And yes, it is a speed breaker. No. What is even more important is to apply brakes. And once you know that this is a speed breaker, brakes need to be applied, which is Z, and this is where real-time decision making, robot navigation, etc. comes into picture, wherein basically based on the output, you're feeding that output into the input of something else, and then essentially real-time decision making is happening. And this is what the future of the world is, wherein everything, machines are going to do all exactly the same thing, just like the way human beings behave. And this is the whole area of AI and reinforcement learning, right? Now, my question to you guys is, how many of you, now we are clear a little more about supervised, unsupervised algorithm. How many of you feel always a little confused between machine learning, data science, and AI? Before I move to the scholarship part, this is one thing that I want to clarify a little bit, because traditionally the most number of questions that I see from people starting in this field is that, Manav, should I, what is the difference between machine learning, deep learning, AI, analytics, and more importantly, should I learn AI or should I learn data science? How many of you have that question, that should I learn AI or should I learn data science, right? Because both of these areas are very, very interesting. Both of these areas have a lot of opportunities. And more importantly, both of these areas are interrelated. If you have that question, let me know in the chat window, or let me know in the chat window if that's an exact question that you have. Should I learn data science? Should I learn AI? Should I learn both? Or should I learn one of the two things, right? Excellent. So most of the people have this question. So let's address that head on, right? So the common thing between both data science and artificial intelligence is this word called machine learning. Machine learning is the common word between data science and artificial intelligence, because machine learning is the brain for even data science and even in AI. Now the difference is, whenever machine learning is used for business problem solving, whenever it is used for doing any prediction to solve a business problem, the use cases become data science. And whenever machines are being used to mimic human intelligence, essentially whenever it is being used to behave like humans, right? For example, humans can see, humans can feel, humans can talk, humans can do a lot of things, right? Or things like this, then it becomes artificial intelligence, right? For example, humans can see, right? It becomes a field of AI called computer vision. Machines can also see. Whenever it comes to talking, humans can talk and machines can also talk. It becomes NLP, right? So the difference is, whenever you are talking about machines being like human beings, it is artificial intelligence. And whenever it is about business problem solving, it is data science, right? Let me just check with you if you have understood this. Now let's imagine that I am a bank and I want to build a fraud detection model to predict whether a credit card transaction is fraud or not, and I want to automate this thing or not, right? Is this a data science problem or a machine or an AI problem? Data science problem or AI problem. If it is data science, type in DS. You don't need to type in the entire data science part. Just type in DS. And if it is AI, type in AI. Right? Absolutely. It is data science. 99% of you got it right. I am doing just prediction that whether this credit card transaction is fraud or not. Now let's imagine that you are a bank and you are like, say, State Bank of India, and you get almost 10 million calls in your call center on a daily basis. And you want to automate this thing so that when people call up your call center, they don't even realize that the person talking to them is a robot, something like Alexa, something like Google Duplex. What is it? Is it AI or is it data science, right? That the person talking on the phone, they don't even realize that it's not a human being, it's a machine talking to me, right? What is it? It is artificial intelligence. Now the question for you is that what should you start with, because both of these areas are very, very interesting. And my suggestion and the recommendation always is do not jump to AI. AI is very complicated. It looks very interesting, but it is very complicated. A lot of maths, lot of calculus. What you always need to do is build very solid foundation in data science and then move to AI. This is the right path, because if you jump into AI right away, when you look at neural networks, when you look at computer vision, when you look at image processing, when you look at NLP, all of these buzzwords seem pretty interesting. But when it comes to the maths part, when it comes to the programming part, it is quite complicated, and complicated in the sense that you need to have a very strong foundation, and that strong foundation will be given to you by data science, because when you do data science, you know how to clean data, you know how to manipulate data, you know how to explore data, and you know how to use machine learning algorithm. Once your basics are clear here, then you can move to AI. So the path that I recommend is start with data science and then move to AI, right? Let me know if this point is something that is now totally clear to you, each one of you, even people who have been thinking about directly jumping into AI. Let me know if this is something that you will remember from this session, that what is the logical path, and more importantly, why. Because my point here is not to just say that you start with data science, but rather why you should start with data science and then move to AI, and what is the logic behind that, right? All right, so before I move to the final part, which is the scholarship part, which is one of the most exciting parts of the session, let me just ask you this question. Let me know if you guys understood all the concepts in today's session, if you enjoyed today's session, and if you feel that today you have finally learned something about machine learning algorithms that you did not know. And more importantly, that you can see that how machine learning algorithms can be used in different areas, right? How is they supposed to be used in different areas, and that you are only limited by your use cases, right? Because classification you can use in agriculture, you can use in defense, you can use in healthcare, etc., right? You can use in different industries, right? So I hope today's session would have given you good insights into what machine learning is, what supervised, unsupervised algorithms, etc. is. Now let me just move to the scholarship part, and I want your permission to move to the scholarship part. And these scholarships, how many of you would want to know about the scholarship part, especially those of you who registered your seat yesterday, right? I hope you would have taken the next steps that you got. Let me know if you are excited about the scholarships and how these scholarships can help you at this point in your career. And these scholarships are designed for working professionals like you who have some experience, who have the potential to become data leaders of tomorrow, and more importantly, who are motivated with this entire machine learning AI revolution, and who want to be part of this revolution that is underway. Let me know if you would want to know about these scholarships, because we have reserved some of these scholarships for today's attendees, those of you who are here in the session today, right? Okay, so does it seem exciting? Are you guys excited about the scholarship part as much as about that you are about the session, right? Okay. Excited to get scholarship, to get on the road to be a data leader. Great, right? So let me just help you understand what these scholarships are, and we have reserved some of these scholarships for those of you who are here in the session today. And these scholarships are available for the next half an hour till the time the session goes on. But let me just first of all help you understand what this scholarship is. These scholarships come from the Insaid Vision Fund, and the whole goal of this 15 crore fund is, and the whole goal of these scholarships is to attract the brightest and the most talented professionals with potential to become data leaders of tomorrow, right? Essentially, it is for people like you who are already working and now are looking at upskilling in areas where big salaries are, where more jobs are, where faster career growth is, and where the demand is. Essentially, it's for people like you who want more exciting work, who want to be in a field where all the companies are exciting, and essentially people who are going to lead this revolution in the next 3, 5, and 10 years, right? Through these scholarships, what you get is 70% tuition waiver on 3 of the programs that Insaid runs, which are our flagship programs. First one of this is the Certificate in Data Science Foundation program, which is a 3-month program. It's delivered completely online, right? You don't have to travel anywhere. All the classes are recorded. And the second program is the 6-month program, which is the most in-demand program that most of you would be interested in, which is the Global Certificate in Data Science program, which is a 6-month program spread over 6 terms. And the third of this program is the Global Certificate in Data Science and Artificial Intelligence program, which is an 11-month program, which is again spread over 11 months and moves from the very basics of data analysis and data science all the way to artificial intelligence and the most advanced levels in computer science and NLP. Now, before I break down these programs for you and open up the registrations for the scholarship, let me just ask you guys, how many of you are interested in data science? If you're interested in data science, type in DS. And how many of you are interested in learning AI and data science? If you're interested in doing that, type in DS and AI, because these programs are meant for people who want to learn in a step-by-step way, who want mentoring all along the way, and more importantly, who want to be taught in a real world example fashion, because the approach that you will need is an approach which is full of examples, full of use cases, full of projects, right? And this is these are the programs that truly have that DNA at their center. So if you're interested in DS, type in DS. If you're interested in DS and AI, type in DS plus AI. I will talk about both of these programs one at a time, right? So all the common thing between all of these 3 programs is all of these 3 programs are taught by the same world-class faculty. There is no difference in terms of the quality of faculty. They are taught each of the terms in this 11-month program, which is the GCD AI program. This is the most comprehensive program, is taught by a different faculty. And what you have is you start from term 1 with the very basics of data analysis, in which you learn how to analyze data. As I said, data analysis is very, very critical, because unless you do not have your basics of data science clear, basics of how to analyze data, how to manipulate data clear, it's going to be nearly impossible for you to do any kind of prediction, right? And that's why the term 1 is very important. And then what you do is you move to term 2, in which you have data visualization and exploratory data analysis, in which you basically learn how to explore data, how to manipulate data, etc. And you learn to how to visualize data through heat maps, box plots as well. Then you move to term 3, which is machine learning foundation. And this is where you start learning what you learned today, which is machine learning, classification, regression, etc. And this term will build your solid foundation in the world of machine learning. After that, those of you who would want to go for the CDF program will drop off here by completing a minor project. And those of you who would be continuing their journey in GCD would move to term 4, which is essentially machine learning intermediate. This is a very unique term in the sense that while you need to know the foundation, but you need to become the best in machine learning. So this is the term that helps you transition from the foundation to the most advanced level through machine learning intermediate. And what you have then in term 5 is machine learning advanced is an elective term. Why this elective term is unique and why it is interesting is that you get to choose an elective based on what you want to do. For example, let me know in the chat window how many of you would want to do elective 1. If you want to do elective 1, which you want to become the best in machine learning, you take it elective 1 and you can type 1 in the chat window. If you want to take data analytics with R, you can take elective 2, right? If you want to add along with Python, you want to add R also to your skill set. And if you want to learn how to visualize data powerfully, and which is one of my favorite areas, which is data visualization, then you have elective 3, which is data visualization with Tableau, right? Now, based on what you want to do, you can choose, you have the freedom to choose any of the electives depending on what your objectives is. After that, you have term 6, in which you have a capstone project, and the capstone project wraps up, it's a team project that is guided by a faculty, right? You'll be working in a team, and it's a 1-month project, and you will be pushing a real world machine learning product into production, and you'll be deploying it, and you will be actually making it live for your peers and for the entire community at Insaid, right? So this is where those of you who would want to go for the GCD program will end their journey, and then the journey will continue for people who want to do AI, right? And here is where the GCD AI program steps into. What you have in the GCD program is that you learn TensorFlow and Keras, which are the #1 and #2 platform globally right now for doing artificial intelligence. If you want to do AI, TensorFlow and Keras is the platform. These are the platforms that you need to learn. And after that, what you learn is deep learning foundation. Essentially, doing NLP, doing computer vision is a waste of time till the time your concepts in neural networks are not clear. And this is the term that will help you clarify your concepts in neural networks, which is deep learning foundation. After that, you learn how to build a chatbot, how to build a text classifier, and then comes my area of specialization, which is computer vision 1, wherein you essentially learn computers to see just like human eyes. And this is what the future of humanity, as I've been saying, is when computers can see like human beings, they have eyes like human beings, then it's basically things becoming more and more intelligent. Imagine in a year, approximately 10 million people die because of car accidents, and most of these are because of problems that can be avoided, and computer vision is coming to rescue in some of these areas, plus a lot of these different areas. Then you have term 11, which is specialization, wherein you have NLP 2 and computer vision 2, depending on what you would want to choose, right? Now, those of you who are planning to go for GCD AI, let me know which specialization would you want to go for, NLP 2 or computer vision 2. If it is NLP 2, type in NLP 2. If it is computer vision 2, type in computer vision 2, right? Because all of you would want, those of you who are planning to go for GCDI would want to go for one of these two electives. It will totally depend on what you want to specialize in. Now, the big question for you is that which of these three programs should you opt for? Because all of these seem pretty interesting, and all of these programs are programs that are designed for professionals like you. The question is, which program should you go for? Now, the answer is simple. If your goal is to get your feet wet into the world of data science, right, but you don't want to commit for 6 months, right, then the CDF program is for you. If your goal is to upskill in data science and also transition into a data science and machine learning role, and you want to become the best in data analysis and machine learning, then the GCD program is for you, because GCD program is spread over 6 to 7 months. And I believe that you need at least 6 months to make a successful transition happen. Then the GCD program is for you, right? And if your goal is to master both of these areas, because you know that today you're learning data science, tomorrow you will need to learn artificial intelligence, and you want to be that go-to person, that instead of hiring two candidates in a company and paying these two candidates separately, you would want to be that one candidate that a company hires and possibly pays higher, both for having data science skills and AI skills. Then the GCD AI program is the right program for you, right? Based on this, let me know in the chat window which program is the right fit for you, and which program do you think is the right program for you: GCD, CDF, or GCD AI. Depending on what you want to do, you can choose any of these programs, right? But let me just also tell you that the objectives are very different. For example, if you're planning to go for CDF, do not expect to get a job out of CDF, because CDF is just the basics. 3 months is the bare minimum, right? GCD is the program for data science, and it is our #1 program. 60% of the students that Insaid has are enrolled in the GCD program. This is our flagship program. 30% in the GCDI program and 10% in the CDF program. So I think most of you, as I can see in the chat window as well, are interested in the GCD program. Some of you are interested in the GCDI program as well, right? So second good thing is, before I open up the registrations, is that you have an option. How many of you would want an option to upgrade from one program to another program, right? Possibly you would want to start with GCD and later you would want to move to GCDI, or you would want to start with CDF and later you would want to move to GCD, and later you would want to move to GCDI, right? If you want that option, right, that option is also available. You can start with one program, and depending on your learning and depending on your pace, depending on everything else, and you can later choose to upgrade to any other program, right? Now, the program fee for the CDF program is 1 lakh. The program fee for the GCD program is 2 lakh. And the program fee for the GCD AI program is 3 lakh. This includes all the classes that you will get to attend in 1 year, plus all the support, all the community support, access to Insaid Career Center, access to Insaid Learning Center, and access to all the teaching assistant, plus the student and alumni database of Insaid. But through this Vision scholarships, what you get is 70% tuition waiver on the fee, and the fee after the 70% tuition waiver, which is thanks to the Insaid Vision scholarship. For the GCD program, what you pay is not 2 lakh rupees, right? What you pay is not 1,50,000, right? What you're also not paying is 1 lakh rupees. The fee for the GCD program after the 70% tuition waiver is just 59,000, right? Let me know if this is great. Let me know if this is awesome, and let me know if this scholarship is amazing, because this scholarship's goal is just one, that if you've been thinking about mastering data science and machine learning, this scholarship is that scholarship that will propel you in that direction forward, right? And this has been specifically designed to achieve that objective, right? Okay. But there is one eligibility that you require for this scholarship, and that eligibility is that you need to have at least 2 years of full-time experience. Let me know if you meet that eligibility criteria also. You need to have at least 2 years of full-time experience. I will open up the registration for the GCD, for all of these programs. But before that, let me just check with you if you meet that eligibility criteria, because the minimum eligibility for this scholarship, the fee after this scholarship becomes 59,000. The minimum eligibility is 2 years, and the reason this eligibility is there is because we want to attract people who can contribute to the class discussions, and that can happen only if you have significant amount of experience, right? Okay, so apart from this, one more big benefit. So the fee for the CDF program becomes 29,000. The fee for the GCD AI program, the 1-year program, becomes 89,000, which is super affordable because you are hardly paying almost 9 to 10,000 rupees per month. Apart from that, what you also get is how many of you would want to opt for all the 3 electives? That during the program you can choose any of the electives, but let me know how many of you would want to take all the 3 electives, right? If that's something that you want to do, let me know in the chat window, because one big benefit of this scholarship is, and which is an add-on of this scholarship, is that you get to enroll in all the electives and all the optionals free of cost, right? You don't pay anything extra. Later there is, if you want to opt for any of the electives, apart from taking one elective, you need to pay separately. But even if you're enrolled in the GCD AI program, and in GCD AI you would see that you don't have all of these electives. You can take all of these electives if you want to take all of these electives as optionals, and that is very much possible. All of this is included in the scholarship amount, right? So what you're getting is apart from the scholarship, an add-on to the scholarship, what you're getting is 70% tuition waiver funded by the Insaid Vision scholarship. The second thing that you get is you get to enroll in all the electives and all the optionals free of cost. You don't pay anything extra. You pay only 59,000 plus GST. This is the total fee that you need to pay, and all of this is included in your fee. Apart from that, what you also get as a big benefit of this scholarship is that if any of you want to, and this is a request that most of our students typically have, right? Is that the course gets over, right? And after that, they want to revise their content. They want to go through the class recordings again, right? And you would want to have all of these lectures of 6 months or 1 year with you. And what you also get in this scholarship as an add-on is you get a free lifetime access to Insaid Learning Center and Insaid Career Center. Since we have to pay a lot of money in server hosting charges, there's a small nominal fee of 1,000 rupees per month as the access to Insaid Learning Center and Insaid Career Center. But what you get as an add-on to the scholarship is you get free lifetime access to Insaid Learning Center. So 3 things that you get: 70% tuition waiver funded by Insaid Vision scholarship, free enrollment in all the electives and all the optionals, free lifetime access to GCD course material, right? Let me know if this scholarship is something that you find totally good, because I'll open up the registration and I'll help you understand how you can register for the scholarship, right? Let me know if you're if the scholarship is something that you would want to opt for. Now, here's how you can register yourself for the scholarship right away. Go on this page, apply.insaid.co, and on this page, select the program that you want to go for, right? For example, if you want to go for GCDI, select GCDI. If you want to go for GCD, select GCD. And this scholarships are webinar exclusive scholarship, and they are available in the session. What you need to do is to avail these scholarships, to block your seat also. What you need to do is you need to select your batch, but before selecting the batch, you need to give your name, right? You will give your name here. You need to give your email address, and you need to select your batch. The next batches that are starting are in February, which is almost 20 days from now, and in March, which is March 2nd batch, which is around 5 weeks from now. Please do not select January 5th batch because it has already started a week back, so you will not be able to join this batch. Select February 2nd or March 2nd, and your scholarship will get reserved. These are exclusive scholarships that we have reserved for this 2-day training that we did yesterday and today. But register for this only if you meet the eligibility criteria, right? So make sure that you are able to make sure that you fill up this form. You complete your registration only if you meet the eligibility criteria, right? Now you have multiple options to pay here. So you can take out a debit card, credit card, whatever it is, and you can register paying using with only 3,000. You have multiple options here. You can select EMI options as well. So you have credit card EMI options available for 6 month to 24 month. You can, most of our students go for 3-month EMI option, 6-month EMI option, 12-month EMI option, and you can enroll for any of the programs using EMI options as well. So the link is active. Go ahead on this link, take out your credit card, debit card, whatever you're comfortable with. You don't have to pay the full fee right now. You just pay 3,000 right now to reserve your 70% tuition waiver and the add-ons for the scholarship that come along with the scholarship. So the link is active. Go ahead, and once you have registered yourself, I would love for each one of you to introduce yourself in the chat window. So the link is active now. It's 12:35. The link is active till 1 o'clock. The scholarship is going to be valid till 1 o'clock, till the time the session goes on. Once the session finishes, the scholarship also goes, right? And if you have any questions, we are there to answer each one of your questions. Keep on typing your questions in the chat window, and I'll be happy to take your questions one at a time. Once you have registered yourself, just introduce yourself in the chat window. Which company do you currently work with? How many years of experience do you have? And more importantly, which city are you from, and which program are you planning to go for? I would personally want to welcome each one of you here, just like the way I welcomed a lot of you in the session yesterday, right? Okay, so so the link is active. Go ahead and register on this link. And in the meantime, what I'll do is I will take your questions one at a time. Okay. So Ravi says, I have a couple of questions. Ravi, you can go ahead and ask us your question. We'll reply to each one of your questions, right? I'm not from software background. Is this program applicable to non-software professionals? We have a lot of people from non-software background as well, Ravi. But so we have even chartered accountants in the GCD and the GCDI batches. I will just show you the student community, and if you want to go through the student profiles as well, right, you can see the student profile. We have hundreds and hundreds of students just like you with approximately 5 to 20 years of experience here, and you would be able to see the detailed profiles of all of the students, and you would be able to see that there are people who are even chartered accountants who don't have anything to do with software engineering enrolled in the program. But what you're going to be looking at is, and what is going to be important is that whether you are ready to learn or not, right? That's the most important prerequisite. Yeah. Okay. Dharminder says, is the total fee is including with this 3,000 registration fee? Absolutely. This total fee, the good thing is this 3,000 gets deducted from your total fee, right? So the total fee is 59,000 plus GST, right? This fee 3,000 gets deducted from that as well. So this is not a separate fee that you're paying for the registration. This gets deducted from the total fee that you are paying. This is for blocking your seat. This is not for the entire, this is not like a separate fee that you are paying. Yeah. Okay. Arun writes, okay. Arun writes, I want to pay using a debit card. So Arun, you would have gotten a link if you have already registered there called FlexiPay. FlexiPay. Just check that link, and you will be able to pay the fee using your debit card. If you have already registered and you want to pay the full fee, Arun, I think that's something that you are looking to do. You will be able to pay using that page. Make sense? Okay. Neeraj writes, I have already reserved the seat. Neeraj, would be great if you can. No, Arun, that's not correct. FlexiPay also allows that page also allows debit card, so you can use debit card net banking also. Just check once more. I think you are referring to the other page, not the FlexiPay. Yeah. Okay. Let me take one more question. Neeraj says, do we need big data with data science? No, knowledge of big data helps, but it is not mandatory. Data science is about getting insights, making predictions happen, and that's what you will be doing in the program. It is about making predictions, and that's what data science essentially is about, right? Okay. Now let me just help you guys with some of the parts that you would want to know about. One of the parts that makes the student community at Insaid that will make your entire learning in the program is the student community, because one of the biggest reasons that that possibly you face in your day-to-day learning is that you want to learn, but you have a full-time job, you have a family to manage, you have a lot of distractions. And what you would want is a network and a support system that helps you build that skill set and that mindset that you are looking to build, right? And this is what exactly the GCD program is designed for. The GCD program will give you that skill set and the mindset that you would require. More importantly, even the network that you would require to succeed in this field of data science and machine learning, right? So let me just show you the profiles of some of the students that you will actually be sitting in the class with, right? But let me just answer some of the questions. Raju writes, will I be able to understand statistics and programming? Don't worry about that, Raju. You'll be getting access to Python starter kit and statistics starter kit, and these starter kits will help you prepare for Python and statistics basics, so you don't need to worry about that. Yeah. So here's a snapshot of the students that you will be actually sitting in the classes with. One of the biggest benefit of keeping a minimum eligibility criteria for the scholarships is that we attract the most brilliant and the brightest people in the industry, right? Okay. And what you have is a class in the class that you will be actually sitting in will have people from all top companies that you can think of. Each batch, for example, the February batch that you'll be joining will have 120 students. The January batch also had 120 students, and the March batch also will have 120 students. So the student intake for each of the batch is 120. And what you have essentially is you have these 120 students who come from all top different companies. Now, what this means for you and how this is helpful for you is that if you want to transition from one company to another company, for example, if you want to transition from Accenture to Amazon, or Citibank to JPMC, or Capgemini to EY, or Ericsson to Verizon, right? Or Ericsson to LG. So now you have a network which is there to help you. You have a network which is there to assist you in making this career transition happen, right? And that is the biggest benefit of this program, that the student community at Insaid is one of the richest, in the sense that you have people from all top backgrounds, from all top companies that you can think of, right? And this is the exact class that you will be actually attending in the program, right? So the link is active. I'm going to be taking your questions. Vikas is also there, actively taking your questions. Make sure that you ask your questions, and make sure that you have reserved your seat right away, because this link is these scholarships are exclusive for those of you who are here in the webinar right now, right? Okay. Second question is, I think the most common question that I'm seeing on in the chat window is that when will be the classes conducted? The classes will be conducted on the weekends, right? Just like this, because this is a program designed for working professionals. Let me just move to the slides. Yeah. This is a program designed for working professionals. So what you have is all the classes take place on the weekends, right? That means you don't have to quit your job, number one. Number two is you learn directly from the best faculty, some of the best faculty in data science and AI space in India. And since the classes are online, all the classes are recorded, which means that even if you miss a particular weekend's classes, you can go through the recordings and join your peers exactly at the same pace the very next week, right? And all the classes are happen just like the way the classes happening today, in the sense that all the classes have real world examples, practicals, hands-on sessions, and term projects and capstone projects. So essentially it's a project based learning architecture that you will be undergoing in the entire program. Yeah. Okay. You now during the week, since one of the differentiators of the program, or one of the things that you love about the program and what our students say that they love about the program, is the access to teaching assistants. During the week, the faculty is not going to be available to take your questions, because the faculty, since we bring some of the best faculty there in the classes, and they will obviously not be there during the entire week to help you. But each faculty is assisted by teaching assistants. And if you need access to teaching assistants at any point of time, the teaching assistant is there even inside the classroom along with the faculty, just like the way Vikas is there right now with me, helping with your questions. Similarly, the faculty is available inside the classroom as well. Teaching assistants are available inside the classrooms as well and outside the classroom as well, right? So during the week, if you get stuck anywhere, you can ask your questions to the teaching assistants, right? So this is the learning format, and the learning format is designed in such a way that you remain motivated during the entire week, number one, and more importantly, you are on track, because the biggest challenge that you would possibly be facing as a professional right now is that maintaining motivation always is a challenge, right? In our day-to-day lives, when you want to upskill, when you want to learn something, you have 10 other things coming up, and this is exactly what the learning format is designed for, right? Okay, so the link is active. I'm getting a time alert that it's going to be 10 minutes to 1. Make sure that you have reserved your seat, and once you have reserved your seat, I would love to welcome each one of you here right away. I'd love to welcome, first of all, Anila, is that right? Is that pronunciation correct? Anila, welcome to the GCD cohort. Would love to know more about you, and if you can also introduce yourself, that will be great. Welcome Sunil, welcome Mahesh. Mahesh, why don't you quickly introduce yourself in the chat window? And welcome Vineet, and welcome Poonam. Welcome everyone, super excited to have you, and uh, I can promise you that this is the best decision that you would have made at the very beginning of 2019, because investment in yourself is the best form of investment. Investment in yourself and in your career is a long-term investment that pays off over a period of time. And I congratulate each one of you for joining the GCD program and the GCDI program. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Keep on typing in the questions in the chat window, and I'd love to take your questions. Make sure that your questions you have asked your questions in the chat window, and I will take your questions one at a time, right? And there are way too many questions coming in. In case I skip any question, make sure that you ask that question again. I am here to take all of your questions. we will answer each question at a time. Yeah. Okay. Abhishek writes, how to see day one recording. We will give you the link. So all the recording, both today's recording and yesterday's recording, is going to be made available to you tomorrow. So don't worry about that, Abhishek. Yeah. Okay. Praveen wants to know, is the job assistant will be provided? Yes, please provide the details. Okay. How many of you would want to know about the certification and the job assistant? Let me know in the chat window if that's something that you would want me to talk about, right? Okay. How many of you would want me to talk about the certification and the job assistance? Let me know if that's something that you are interested in knowing, because that's something which is very, very important to our students, right? Okay. Somebody also has a question. I have reserved my seat and now I am trying to make the full payment, but there is no net banking option. I don't get your name. Can you just quickly let me know your name, because I'm seeing your laptop by which you're joining, HP, Jayant. Jayant, so you will need to use this page called FlexiPay, FlexiPay that you would have gotten in your email. Jayant, can you quickly check? You would have gotten this link, FlexiPay link. You need to make sure that you are paying using that link. So yes, so it is to flexipay.insaid.co, which has been just posted. You need to complete. You'll have net banking option available there, right? And Arun, this is for you as well. You would be able to pay using this FlexiPay link, right? Okay. Now, let me just answer some questions regarding jobs, but make sure, guys, those of you who have not reserved your seat, the link is active right now. Let me just quickly recap what you are getting. Let me just find out the slides where we have all the content, because it's easy to miss what you have, what you're getting. So three things that what you're getting in the scholarship is: one, you're getting a tuition waiver. You get 70% tuition waiver funded by the Insaid Vision Scholarship, number one. Second thing that you get is you get to enroll in all the electives and all the optionals free of cost. And the third thing that you get is free lifetime access to GCD course material. So these are the three things that you're getting in the scholarship. Make sure that you've reserved your seat. Make sure that you've reserved your scholarship. And if you have any question, I'm happy to answer your questions one at a time. Yeah. Now let me talk a little bit about the certification and the career assistance part, because that's something that most of you are interested in. So in certification, one of the ways in which the certification is different is that what you have is you get a certificate like this. This is the certificate that you get. It's a beautiful certificate. You will have a unique certification ID, and this certification ID will be unique to you. And if this certificate will be given to you only once you submit all the term projects, all the capstone project, and you complete the final certification exam as well. Once you have cleared all the three things, term project, capstone project, and certification exam, then you get this certification, right? And what you also have is that one of the objectives of the GCD program is just not to make you a data scientist or an AI expert, but the goal is essentially to make you into a global leader and data leader of tomorrow. And what you have in the program is in each of the terms, for example, in term 1, term 2, term 3, what you will be doing is we'll be bringing one expert globally to interact with the class. For example, in December, we had the chief data scientist of Reliance Jio interacting with the students. In January, we had the author of a book on Matplotlib data science book interacting with our students. In February, we had the biggest name, who's a person who's also called the father of data science, modern data science, called Kirk Bond. Just Google him, you'll be able to see the stature of this person. He is a principal data scientist at Booz Allen Hamilton, one of the most recognized names in the entire world, called Kirk Bond, coming to Insaid, interacting with our students. The whole goal is to give you, to have all of these global experts interacting with you, sharing their insights with you in the classes, and more importantly, providing you those perspectives that you would need to become a leader in this space. Because what the faculty does in the class is the faculty teaches you various things, but what you also need beyond teaching is, what you also need is perspectives, and that's something that these global immersion sessions help you do, right? So Suchit Majumdar, who's our chief data scientist, he's going to be hosting this session with Kirk Vaughan, and I truly believe that this is going to be one of those sessions, since you're going to hear from world's #1 expert in data science, AI, and machine learning. Is going to be like a truly game-changing session for you. And each month, like for January, we had a certain speaker. For February, we have Kirk Bond. For in March, we are going to have another of the pioneers in the space. Similarly, every month there is one pioneer, one leader coming from across the world, interacting with you guys in the classes, right? Okay, so let me just welcome a couple of people more before I talk about the placement. I just want to welcome Navneet. I just want to welcome Suman. It will be great if you guys can introduce yourself and let me know about you in the chat window. How many years of experience do you have, and which company do you work with? I would love to know that, right? Okay, let me also welcome Narendra. Let me just welcome Ramesh Babu. Welcome each one of you, and I would love to know which company do you work with and how many years of experience do you have, right? Let me know that in the chat window very quickly. Yeah. Now the next steps are, after you have registered yourself today, like the way some of you did yesterday. Let me just walk you through the next steps so that you know that what needs to be done next. After you've registered yourself today, and the link is, by the way, I'm just getting a time alert again. The link is active right now. Make sure that you've reserved your seat, because it's going to be 1 o'clock in another 4 to 5 minutes. This scholarship is going to vanish. Along with the 70% tuition waiver, what you're getting is two other things that you already know about. Thanks to this 70% tuition waiver, you don't pay the full fee. There's a minimum eligibility criteria, and as long as you meet this minimum eligibility criteria, you don't need to worry whether that is in IT or non-IT. You need to have 2 years of experience, and through this scholarship you get you pay only 59,000 plus the taxes for the GCD program, right? So once you have registered, just let me know in the chat window. Okay, one question I'm getting is that, can I start with CDF and move to GCD later? Absolutely, you can do that. In fact, some of our students do that as well. And one of our goals is to make it very, very flexible for you. So you can even, CDF is low risk, low investment option, right? It's hardly any investment and it's hardly any risk, right? So this is like the total risk-free option. You can start with CDF, see how the program is going, and later you can upgrade to the GCD option, and later you can upgrade to the GCD AI option. So you can totally do that. Now, regarding your question, do I need to pay the full fee? No, you just need to pay the difference between GCD and CDF and GCD AI and GCD. For example, if you are upgrading from CDF to GCD at a later point of time, what you need to do is you need to pay the difference between 59 and 29, which is 30,000 plus taxes at a later point of time. If you are upgrading from GCD to GCD AI, right, which is what most of you would be interested in, because most of you would be interested in starting with GCD first, you need to pay just the difference between 89,000 and 59,000 right, is 30,000 plus GST, which is 18%. You just need to pay that. So the goal here is that you should have as much flexibility as possible, as much options as possible as you want. And that's the whole reason that there are 3 tiers of program. You don't need to choose the entire 1 year program. If you want to choose 6 months, you can choose 6 months. If you want to choose 3 months, you can choose 3 months. So that is totally up to you which program you want to go for. As I said, however, traditionally we see approximately 60% of our students going for this, 30% for this, and 10% people who are not sure, who are like a little confused whether they want to go for a full-blown program or whether they want to become a data scientist or whether they want to make a career in this, they go for the CDF option. Okay. So keep the questions coming in, and Vikas is taking all of your questions one at a time, and I'll also be taking your questions like the way just I am taking right now. So if you have any questions that are not addressed, make sure that you ask that question right now. Okay. Can I select the January batch? No, you cannot select the January batch because it has already started. You will need to go through the starter kits. And going through the starter kits is mandatory, right? And you will need a couple of weeks to go through the starter kits. So you cannot select the January 5th batch here. You need to start with the February batch and the March batch. Okay. How many students will be there? There will be 120 students per batch. Each batch size is 120 students. And that's the cap on the batch. If your registration is post that 120 students, you are automatically transferred to the next batch, and we anyway close enrollments for that particular batch. Yeah. Okay. Now let me just talk a little bit about the career center, because that's something that I've not been able to among all the things. One of the goals of first of all, let me just ask you one question. How many of you are looking to do GCD and GCDI for upskilling? And how many of you are looking to do the program for transitioning? If you're looking to do it for transition, type in transition. If you're looking to do it for upskilling, that is, you want to, if you are in ETL, testing, Java, you want to be in these areas, but you want to have these skills on your resume, just type in upskill, right? If you're doing it for transitioning, type in transition, right? Let me know in the chat window whatever your objective is in the and I will talk about that, right? If your goal is to transition, then there is something that you would absolutely love. What we have is a dedicated cell called Insaid Career Center. The goal of Insaid Career Center is to ensure that irrespective of whatever your goal is, you should be able to achieve that objective, right? For example, if you are in right now, like the way I drew it yesterday, let me just draw that. If you are right now in this, say you are an SAP consultant, right? Or if you are in ETL, or if you are in testing, right? Or if you're in Java, and you want to move towards AI, what should be the steps to get into this? There are, and obviously it cannot happen in one day, it cannot happen in 1 month. It takes effort, it takes planning, it takes mentoring, and it takes clarity, right? It takes multiple things. So whatever steps you will need to take to get from here to here, for example, profile mapping. Right now, you would be confused with 15 years of experience. What can you expect, right? You'll get that, right, through Insaid Career Center. Second thing that you will need is a resume, because a great resume is half the battle won. And that great resume is something that Insaid Career Center will help you do, because if you're going to write all the ETL stuff in your resume, that is of no use. If you're going to write all the testing stuff in your resume, that is of no use. And that's something that you will need to do. And trust me, how many times I have seen in the last 5 years I've been in this space, that people apply for data science roles, and they write everything related to their testing profile in that resume. That's strict no-no, right? Resume is what you'll be building. Third thing is interview preparation. Through you have ICC, which is library, which is Insaid Career Center library, and we'll be providing you this library wherein the questions that you're going to see in an interview, 90% of the questions are going to be from this library. 90% of the questions are going to be from this library, right? That is what you have as a short weapon. Short weapon that if you go for an interview, you know that these are going to be the questions, these are going to be the case studies in that interview, right? And last is the referrals. For example, if you want to switch to a particular company and you want to know that what are the departments, and if you can be referred by an employee of that company, your chances of selection become really high. And that's what you're going to get as in the GCD program. Every top company that your dream company is, for example, if your dream company is, say, Microsoft, we have multiple students from Microsoft you can take referrals from, and you will have multiple students from Microsoft in your company. If your dream company is, for example, say Amazon, we have in your particular batch, you will have multiple students from Amazon itself, right? Who possibly can give you give you referrals. For example, here are some of the profiles. Right, Arun works with, he's a product manager. Similarly, you have every student in GCD is very unique in the sense that they are at very good positions. We have right now all the way from software engineers to product owners to test leads to solution architect to project managers, and all the way to directors, senior directors, and CIOs as well. The highest level that you can think of in a company, we have CIOs as well in the program, right? And that is the strength of the network that you get, that you don't get anywhere else, or you don't get to build on your own, because all of these students are going to be with you in the classes in the GCD program. Okay, so let me just welcome a couple of people more. Let me just welcome Rajat Shivastav. Welcome, Rajat. Super excited to have you. Welcome, Mani. Super excited to have you. Welcome. Okay, I'm not able to read the other name. Welcome, Nimish. Welcome, Nimish. Great to have you on board. And I hope, I can say that this is the best decision that you would have made in this year at the very beginning of this year, right? So is the Insaid Career Center part clear to everyone? Let me know if you can see that what kind of help you are going to require, and how that help will be given to you in terms of helping you transition from your current role into a data science and machine learning role, right? That's the whole goal of Insaid Career Center, and that's what you will be able to achieve in the program. Yeah. Okay. So now here are the next steps that next steps that you need to go through. What you will need to go through now after you've registered today. Once you've registered today, you would have gotten a welcome email. That welcome email has two links. One is to complete your scholarship application, and one is to complete the remaining fee payment, right? Scholarship application and remaining fee payment. The deadline to complete both of these steps is January 17th, right? Which is coming Thursday. And after January 17th, all of you will be starting your preparation for the GCD program and GCDI program. You will be getting access to Python starter kit and statistics starter kit. And if I were you, I would not even wait till January 17th. I would complete both the steps today itself, so that you can start your preparation with Python and statistics starter kit. Completing both these starter kits 100% is mandatory before the programs, and I'll just show you what these starter kits look like. It is mandatory because all of the students come from different backgrounds, and our goal is that when you start your preparation when you start the program on February 2nd or March 2nd, you guys need to be confident about what is being covered. And you will become confident about what is being covered only when you have basics of Python and basics of statistics are going to be clear. And this is the starter kit that you will have access to inside the Insaid Learning Center. What you're going to have access to inside the Insaid Learning Center is this. All of these are the very basic concepts in maths, very basic concepts in statistics. And this is the very foundation of data science. If you are clear with these very basic concepts, you are all good, and you will need to go through these starter kits, right? So so the time is about to get over. Let me know if all of you have registered, and let me know if there are any questions. What you have is the 70% tuition waiver is going to expire now as the session closes. So make sure that you have reserved your seat. If any of you have not been able to reserve your seat, let me know in the chat window if you've run into any issue. And if any of you have been sitting on the fringe as well, let me know if you want us to wait. Otherwise, we'll start wrapping up the session. Type in wait in the chat window if you want us to wait. Otherwise, what I'll do is I'll start closing up the session. This scholarship was reserved for this 2-day training. Most of the scholarship we had already given out yesterday. The last few of these are available for those of you who are in the session today. So make sure that you have reserved your seat. These are the 3 things. This is a recap of what you get. You get 70% tuition waiver funded by Insaid Vision Scholarship. You get free enrollment in all the electives and all the optionals, and you get lifetime access to GCD course material or GCDI course material. But these last two, when these last 2 options are available, are not available for CDF folks. These are available only for GCD and GCD AI students. These 2 scholarship add-ons are available only to GCD and GCDI students. To CDF students, you have this available. 70% tuition waiver is available, but these 2 other add-ons, scholarship add-ons, are available only to those of you who are enrolled in the GCD and the GCDI program, right? So with this, I think it is time to wind up the session. If any of you have not been able to register, let me know. Otherwise, I can wind up the session. I will leave the session with the coordinates for today. If any of you have any questions, just write to us. This is the email address of the admissions team, admissions@insaid.co. And these are the phone numbers. Reach out to the admissions team at these 4 numbers for any help in the next steps. The next steps are already self-explanatory. They are there in your email, the welcome email that you would have received. So just complete those next steps and you should be good to go, right? With this, let me just wind up today's session. Thank you very much for attending. And let me know if you found the session helpful. If today's session gave you a step-by-step approach to machine learning, and if the objective that we had of learning machine learning, supervised, unsupervised classification, a lot of these terminologies are clear to you, and more importantly, if you're clear how to apply them in real world setting. Let me know if those are the concepts that you're clear with right now. I hope you would have enjoyed this 2-day training. I wish you all the best. Have a great week ahead. And anytime if you want to reach out to me, just reach out to me at manav@insaid.co. With this, let me close the session. Thank you very much. Have a great day and take care. Bye-bye.